Trotter of NFL.com wrote a great piece taking on Tom Brady. NFL defenders and coaches share what it's like to go up against the greatest of all time. And I think this really illustrates, Tom, sorry, but nobody's feeling sorry for you, buddy. Nobody cares about your offensive line, and you're dealing with a couple of backup guards and a backup center. Nobody's taking you lightly. Nobody's believing in this underdog story that you want to sell. We're not buying that at AT&T Stadium on Sunday Night Football. No. We're not buying it at all, Tom.
He's just used to having a loaded team, and now this is a more realistic look.
No, if anything, our Cowboys are still the underdogs.
That's right.
And we're going to slay the dragon on Sunday Night Football in front of a national audience, thanks to Micah Parsons and that defensive line and that front seven. We're going to get after them. We're going to get after them.
I was pecking around on this story yesterday, Woolchuck. I'm glad you're bringing it.
Oh, I was listening, and I was loving everything you were saying.
You know, my idea is, okay, let's go to 2014. The Cowboys were taking on the Saints. The Saints had been champions. They were contenders, and they were like, there's no way you can beat the Saints. But what had happened with the Saints was they'd lost a bunch of players from 2013 to 2014. And what you ended up going into was a game where you were actually the better team.
Right.
And I know, like, playing good teams and contenders is the Cowboys' bugaboo, but I just don't know if in week one the Buccaneers are going to be that team.
I don't look at the Bucs as a team that's lost a ton of talent. Like, yeah, they lost their center. Okay, I think Brady's overcome a lot more than that. They lost their guard that was competing for the starting spot. It wasn't like it's their legendary Zach Martin guard who goes down right before the season. It's a guy who was competing, probably would have started. He's injured. Okay, no big deal. He's still got a litany of weapons. He's still got a stable of running backs, and they got a hell of a defense. Like, their defense, they're going to be bringing pass rushers all over the place. They still got the two stud linebackers. Right. They got your guy, Antoine Winfield Jr. I think their defense is still going to be, the defense may ultimately be what wins them that particular game. It'll probably be a low-scoring game, but I think they got enough talent offensively. Losing a center, losing a guard, not the end of the world for a guy like Brady. He doesn't have Gronk anymore. Antonio Brown, was he even there really? He was there, but he kind of wasn't there. Was he going to play week to week? Like, not really. So I don't look at the Bucs and be like, oh my gosh, they lost all this talent. I think there's a lot of noise involving the center injury. There's a lot of noise involving Tom Brady and his 11-day sabbatical. But when the dust settles, I still think you're looking at one of the better rosters in the sport.
This is going to be a difficult task. There's no doubt about it. And this article is just going to illustrate, despite the banged-up offensive line that the Bucs are going to have, when you have Tom Brady, you should, without a doubt, be the favorite. Basically every Sunday, unless on the opposite side, you're playing an Aaron Rodgers or somebody to even the playing field. And Cam Hayward, all-pro, and for the Pittsburgh Steelers, quote, it's different when you play him. It's not just that you put him on a pedestal and say, this is the greatest of all time. It's that this guy is a competitor who can beat you in so many different ways and understands the game at a totally different level. I caught myself rewatching some of the stuff he's done over the years, and it's remarkable how he knows how to find the vulnerable spots, how he knows how to find the perfect play. It brings out the best in your defense. And if it doesn't bring out the best, it brings out the worst in your defense. The difficulty for defenses is that Brady can play any game. Some quarterbacks excel at downfield passes, others at dink and dunks. Brady can do anything with numbing proficiency. He's never been known for his mobility, but few quarterbacks have ever moved as well in the pocket as Tom Brady has. He slides to either side, or he steps forward or backward to evade pressure. He will never be confused for Lamar Jackson in terms of foot speed, but he scrambles just well enough to pick up first downs. That said, the thing that truly separates Brady from his others is his preparation. He is relentless in his study of opponents and their tendencies, both individually and collectively. In 2001, the Patriots were facing Washington in a preseason game. Rarely do teams game plan or scout the opponent in such situations. It's more an opportunity to work on yourself and your team. But when linebacker Antonio Pierce lined up across from Brady, then a backup to Drew Bledsoe, he was shocked to hear Brady identifying him as a rookie instead of as the middle linebacker, which is customary. And it goes on to talk about Ryan Clark. Quote, when you play Tom Brady, you're playing the present man. the athlete that stands before you, and you're also playing every ghost of all of his successes. What he's meaning is, and he played him 13 times, you've seen him come back so many times that, oh my God, that's still Tom Brady over there. You get some young dudes, a rookie who says, oh man, he's not even that good. But those who know and those who have experienced it are like, no, that's still Tom. You better lock in.
That's the mystique.
Exactly. Yeah. You're right. And
it's helping his teammates. It's hurting the opponents.
100%. And the article goes on to talk about that. It aids his own team, right? They're never out of it. You saw it in the playoff game against the Rams. They rally and they almost come back to win it. So it's hurting the opposition. He's in their head. They can be down 3 scores. And his own team's never losing belief. Meanwhile, the other team's thinking, this is too good to be true. This is Tom Brady. When's he coming back on us? When is he about to go ahead and lock in, and the mystique of Tom Brady is about to come back and just rip this game from underneath us? And as Cowboy fans, we're going to be thinking about that on Sunday night. If Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence and Sam Williams and Dorrance, if we're getting after it up front and the Cowboys are up 24-10 or whatever it is, and it's the fourth quarter, you best believe we're nervous, and we're going to have that pit in our stomach thinking, oh my gosh, is Brady about to do this? Is that fourth quarter comeback on? Because that is, without question, the mystique of playing a guy and the greatness of a Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's brutal, especially now when he goes to a team where he's like, hey, I'll come there if you torch the future of your salary cap to get me good players. Now you're dealing with the mystique, the experience, the preparation. And then on top of that, I don't know if they say anything about this in this article, Wolchuk, but it's the elite processing. That nobody else, I think, in the history of the league has been able to recognize things and turn that into action. Like, it's a fog of war out there, and I think for a lot of people it's a blur, but because things have slowed down, and then because of the mental acumen advantage that he has, it allows him to take things that he sees and act on it quicker than anybody that's ever played the sport. And then on top of that, he's a grinder. And most people should not be able to grind as much without getting bored. But like Peyton Manning, Kobe Bryant, these are guys that could practice 8 hours a day, 365 days a year, and not feel like, oh my God, I need a month vacation.
Right.
They just want more. They're freaking machines. And that's how, you become the GOAT, Brian.
Yeah, just a sidebar here. I'm loving this conversation. I got a thought about this Brady thing, but I just want to report a message I got from the front office is they will not have anything done today.
Okay.
On
Jason Peters.
On Jason
Thank
Peters.
you.
So we'll see if this thing carries into tomorrow. I know Clarence Hill was tweeting about something. I wanted to follow back up, but the message I just got is they will not have anything done today.
Yeah. Okay. So I just punched up Chill. Per source with knowledge, no resolution until Friday, and nothing is imminent off the thing of Chill, though, just to give you your 2 sources there on the story, Wolchuk.
Now, in Broadus, I want your thoughts here, but one other quote that I want to put in here from Raheem Morris, the defensive coordinator now for the LA Rams, Super Bowl winner, played him in the playoffs and has played him multiple times throughout his career, was with the Bucs. Mm-hmm. Quote, whenever you play Brady, you've got to prepare 2 game plans pretty much. You've got to have something ready to go in the first half, knowing he's going to get a read on your looks and make adjustments in the second half. Then you have to have a game plan for the second half, not to surprise him, but give him a different look. You've always got to be proactive on your changes and be proactive on what you want to do. It's not like playing everybody else when you go in with a game plan, and if it's working, don't mess with it. You better be ready to adjust and improvise to how he's going to adjust and improvise in the second half.
That's absolutely right. The difficulty is he's played so many games, it's hard to give him a look he hasn't seen. So the idea is to, with your back end with the coverage, if you can hold up well enough, then you make him hold the ball. And then the plan, when you look at film on him, is you get him to move. You get him to do things athletically that he doesn't do as well as he did, say, 6-7 years ago. And that's move like laterally. He'll slide in the pocket and do things like that.
He'll get a QB sneak on you still somehow.
That's one of the things you always have to worry about that. But people, when you go back and study, and I've asked people about this, we talk about eye level, the pressure. Can you get 4? But you want to sit there and drop, pressure 4, drop 7 all day, he'd probably pick you apart. But if you could get pressure with 4 and then find a way with that 4 to get him to move, and he's not as comfortable anymore when he has to move laterally.
Yeah.
You get him to move laterally. He's almost like clunky and clumsy and that stuff like that.
We saw it in 14 against Denver. Like, there's huge moments in NFL history where it's happened. The Giants got to him in the Super Bowl.
Right.
I think if you're Dan Quinn, you'll try for 4 sometimes, but you're sending Barr and Parsons a lot, aren't you?
Yeah, you're trying. I think where you need to attack Tampa, and I'm really going to study this hard, is you take Parsons and you don't try and let him win on the edge. You let him win through the middle of the pocket.
I love it.
And that's where he's battling a back potentially, battling somebody like Leonard Fournette who doesn't pick up blitzes all that well. That could be a problem for the Buccaneers in this game. But people I've talked to said, listen, you've got to get him to move and move laterally because that's a big, big problem for him.
Well, Chuck, you good?
Yeah.
Skills to pay the bills.
To your point, it's all called, about making the team better around him. They call it the Brady effect. That's an ability to get guys to rally around you because they know you're going to make a play when it matters most. Hold on long enough and he's going to fix it. When your team believes in you that much, you give your team a shot.
But since they beat the Cowboys last year in week 1, Chiafalo, okay, they did get whooped against the Rams. They lose Antonio Brown before that. You lose Gronk. If they didn't have Antonio Brown to torch Anthony Brown last year in week 1, and what was it, 140 yards or something? It was like every time we turned around, AB was catching one. I could have seen that game going Cowboys' way. I think there is now a significantly better way for the Cowboys to match up now that you take those players off the field.
Was that a game of missed extra points, field goals, and
Zerline
stuff
missed a
involved?
few.
31-29.
Yeah, I mean, it was a close one. It was neck and neck, and it's not to say that the Cowboys can't win this game. I think it definitely is a winnable game at home. I think it's going to come down to the wire one way or another, last team with the ball kind of deal. I think it will be a very close game.
Up?
Absolutely. I think both teams feel good about their defenses.
Yeah.
Under, right? Under 50 points?
Yeah.
Under for sure.